And we're back with another episode of the Lakers Fast Break podcast. It's an early afternoon one. It's Gerald Glassford coming right back at you here for the Lakers Fast Break, a pop culture cosmos where we cover the latest news and trends in pop culture each and every week, twice a week, wherever you get your podcasts. Also, as well, of course, Joe Soros here. Go ahead and check out what he's doing today at Symblaze, symblaze.com. His upcoming course channel that you got to go ahead and check out, the Joe Soro Ox or Experiment. There you go. I got it right this time. And then, of course, also as well, his game Corrupt, right now available on Steam. Good friends John Costa, Clutch Talk and Lakers Corner, the Lakerholics, all these great people, all these great places, all these great things, including Empire Jeff TV and Daniel Berry Sports Highlights. Yo, whoa! Go ahead and check out all these great people by going ahead and liking, subscribing, and of course, you got to go ahead and like and subscribe with us to get the latest notifications on when we go live on the air. We can do it at any time, like right now. But you got to be a member. You got to go ahead and be a subscriber. You got to like us. You got to go ahead and keep in tune with what's going on right here at the Lakers Fast Break. And don't forget to become a member today for just $2.99 a month, indeed. Well, the Lakers, after last night's very disappointing performance against the Chicago Bulls, now head out on the road for 4 games starting tomorrow in Orlando at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, or as Michael would say, Michael Heinrich of Lakerholics, 1 p.m. Hawaii time. So go ahead and check that out on playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break tomorrow. But the question is, how important is this road trip to the Lakers season? We'll discuss that and how the Lakers must go ahead and be successful on this road trip. And here today to discuss that is Joe Soro, Ox1947. Joe, good to have you here. I know we were talking about last night, 2-2, stuff like that. It has to be at least 3-1 to me. It has to be 3-1, more likely 4-0. The Lakers have pretty much backed themselves into a wall. You and I have made imperatively, how important getting the highest seed possible is. I don't think it has connected with everyone. That's the troubling part. People do not understand NBA history. And in not understanding NBA history, they don't realize how important getting that higher seed truly is, Joe.
It could be that there's always the stubborn that think that, oh, well, it'll happen this time. That's what happens a lot in just life in general. Well, it didn't work out the first 80 times. It'll work out this time. Or there might be that one anomaly where you're like, see, it happened then. I always use the lottery as an example. When you see someone that made it, quote unquote, made it easy, overnight successes, all those things. You hear about the overnight successes more than you hear about the, man, this guy grind or this lady grind for 20, 25 years and finally got to where they want to. Most of the people out there do that. It's only a very few, like a lottery winner, that will win overnight. And I'm not going to hang my hat on the Lakers making it as a 6-7 seed because they feel like they can coast because they, quote unquote, need rest, especially when you need rest for a bunch of 25-year-olds and 6-year-olds, 24-6. I mean, these guys are not only in their prime, they're in their life prime, basketball prime, everything prime. What exactly am I missing here? What rest do you need when you're not injured? They all play hurt. Every single athlete in sports plays hurt. Freddie Freeman played with a busted ankle and a broken rib, and he was still able to hit home runs. What exactly is it that you're resting up for to be 100%? There's no such thing as getting 100% this late in the season. What it does is it continues to add to the mental weakness of just everything in general. And the results of those mental weaknesses is what you saw last night. And of course, I don't know if you can really judge the Milwaukee game more than just the fact that there wasn't enough talent on there. But what I did want to get on is I wanted to get on the fact that people's infatuation, as in the fans, maybe not the players in that game, but the infatuation with the fans about a minuscule thing that happened in that game that people are paying attention to. Trying to say, oh, well, so and so is better than you thought he was. I don't give a shit about that. This is about winning championships. It's about competing, at least, for championships, while you guys are out there trying to dingle your balls on some fucking fantasy about some player. Who gives a shit? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I'm here to watch the Lakers win. I'm not here about your fantasy player being better or worse than what you want him to be. I think that's where things get lost. And then it gets, for those who don't get it, they'll get defensive, they'll get upset, they'll start throwing things at whatever. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's kind of fun to do if you want to just kind of mess with people, or maybe, just kind of keep things entertaining. But now that it's a Sunday, we've gotten past this last couple games. Now it's time to sit down and really let everyone understand that what you got to really understand what you're really here for. Are you here for just waiting for people to be wrong so you can go and write about it or talk about it? Or are you here to watch the Lakers win? I'm here to watch the Lakers win. And when I see them put the foot down on the gas and win, I get very happy. When they break for no reason, that pisses me off. You all have to understand the difference, because it sets a precedent. It sets a momentum. This isn't me saying this. Go listen to Phil Jackson or read some of the. I haven't read all of Phil Jackson's books. I have not, but I've read some of them. And one of the reoccurring themes is being in the moment. They actually said this in The Last Dance. The narrator, whatever sports writer was narrating this particular part about Michael Jordan, was he was always in the moment. He was always present. If you're constantly thinking about what's going to happen in 10 years, 10 games, 10 months, you're never in the moment. You're always worried about something that's not even there yet. Live in the moment. If the thing busts, it busts. But live in the moment, and you have a better chance at not only quality of what you're putting out there, but it's very rare. And I'm going to use Dave Roberts' line that this year, which is amazing, factoring my Dave Roberts history. The game will pay you back. The game will reward you. Didn't mean to get all philosophical here, but it's true, guys. Why is it that Phil Jackson, why is it that guys like Michael Jordan, why are these guys so touted and admired? Because they won, and with that kind of mentality. You could still win without that kind of mentality, but are you going to win to become at that level? That's the question I ask myself.
So with that, and again, it's the Lakers Fast Break. Happy Lakers weekend, everyone. It's Gerald Glassford along with Joe Soro. Please go ahead and make sure you're checking in with us tomorrow for Lakers and Orlando. Remember, it's an early start time for people out there on the West Coast, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. And then afterwards, it is the post game right here at the Lakers Fast Break. Joe, I really have been going back and forth on this. I really think they need to go 4-0. I just am more I think about it, they do need to go 4-0. It is imperative what they need to make up for these past two games that they've basically punted. One that they, whether they couldn't help it or they couldn't, or they could, whatever, in regards to what happened yesterday in against Chicago. But of course, as we've talked about, elaborated at length, at nauseum in regards to what happened on Thursday. these two games are the type of games that change your season if you let it. And the only way that they can prevent that from happening at all is by going out and knocking out these next 4 games and coming back in a much better frame of mind. 47 wins. That's what they need to get to. They can't even 3-1, which I have a feeling they'll probably go. That's my guess. I think it needs to be 4-0. I don't want to say it as far as being Mr. Positive or thinking unrealistic. It has to be a 4-0 road trip. They have put themselves in the position if they really want the second seed, like LeBron talks about, like everybody talks about, on the Lakers. If they really want that seed, they're going to have to go 4-0.
Denver and Houston are playing today. If Denver beats Houston, there's a little bit more room for error there, maybe, but not really, because it's not likely the Lakers are going to win out. They'll win. They'll probably lose 3 or 4 more games before the season is over. But you'll try to take as many losses from who's ahead of you as you can. It's the losses against Utah, the losses against Charlotte weren't as aggravating as this last 2 were. The timing has a lot to do with it. The fact that we've seen this happen for the last few years, this constant scaling back, and it's a bad habit, and it's not made aware that it's causing problems. It's not ending well because it's a constant scaling back of, well, we want to make sure these guys are okay. Well, okay, LeBron, I get. Why DFS? Look what happened to Vando last night. As much as I can't stand his game, why was he sitting? That guy has no business sitting after sitting for 2.5 months. That guy needs reps. He needs somehow to keep playing if he's going to play like he did last night, if he can't catch the damn ball. That's the thing that's interesting about someone's assessment on what we're telling you is going on. I know what I'm looking at. I'm not making this up. Basketball at this level, football, whatever. You miss a game, you miss 3 games, you miss a week. It's your timing is off. These guys are elite athletes playing an elite game. Everything matters. Everything matters. Why are these guys sitting? LeBron, I get. That makes sense. Common sense. Why is a 26 or a 25 or a 24-year-old sitting down? Especially when they have so many deficiencies that they can work on in the game. You are not practicing on top of this. Yet we have to be looked on as people that are, they saw one bad game and not. No, it's not one bad game. It has nothing to do with one bad game. If it was a bad game, we understand that. I get that. We've said that. 82 games, you're going to have a few bad games. But why is it always when we say something after the foot has been taken off the gas, you see these kind of performances and we're like, what the fuck? You see what happened? This is what happens when you do this. Because it happens. You're not the three-peat Lakers. The three-peat Lakers could turn it on whenever the hell they wanted. And they proved it. Shaq and Kobe, Natalia was talking about that interview. Those 2 assholes could turn it on anytime they wanted. You are not Shaq in his prime, and you are definitely not Kobe in his prime. You can't do it. You can't. So why go back? Why take guys out, especially guys that have so many deficiencies in their game? Why would you do that? For guys who are healthy. And this is the result. And I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. You're going to play or you're not. That's something that get off of anymore. If you can win now doing this, I'll shut up. But we're not. They're not winning scaling back. They're not winning taking it easy and taking games off. I don't understand where this logic comes from. I really don't. And the results are right there, and people are getting upset. Oh, it was one bad game. No, assholes. It has nothing to do with one bad game. And by the way, there's only 12 fucking games left. You have to get the second seed to have a shot. A third seed, it's going to be tough, especially if Houston gets that seed or Denver. That means you have to go to Denver. That means you have to go to Houston, who have elite guard play, elite perimeter play. What hurts the Lakers more than anything in this year? Elite, really, really good perimeter guys. Are you going to want to spend 7 games against Houston or Denver? It will happen if you lose that first game on the road, which the Lakers have not been good on the road. Pay attention to what we're watching. Stop watching fucking Twitter. Stop listening to all these dumb fuck assholes who have been shunned by God knows what, and now they have their own stuff going on, and they have to just create stupid shit. This is not coming from stupid shit. This is coming from what we're watching. I don't go around yapping at the lady at the grocery store about what's going on with the Lakers. This is Lakers fans watching this shit primarily. We're Laker fans. We have a playback show where we're watching as we're talking. What more do you want? What more evidence do you need to understand what we're saying? You're watching with us. I don't like it. I'm never going to like it, and I'm going to keep talking about it. Stop scaling back, especially the young guys. Why? You don't need to. Let them play through some pain. Let them play uncomfortable a little bit instead of babying these assholes. How much more babying seriously, how much more babying, really? How much? To the point where your commissioner is yapping about 10-minute quarters. Seriously? 8 more minutes are going to kill you? Back-to-backs? Oh, well, Joe, they played 6 out of 8. Oh, it's been unprecedented since they have done that. Well, what about all the times when they've been off for 4 days, 5 days? Does that not count? How about this? You want to sit LeBron down? Okay, I'll give you that one. I'll give you that one. If you want to sit down Durant, I'll give you that one. Common sense. Why are you sitting a 24-year-old? You don't think they play 6 games out of 8 in AAU ball? I think they play like 10 games in a week sometimes, don't they? What is it? Where are you guys pull these excuses and excuse after excuse after excuse? All I hear all day from everyone and everywhere. Fucking excuses. That's all I hear. And then the results prove that your excuses mean shit. It means shit. It means nothing in the end because the results is all that matters. And I get made fun of for that word. I get made fun of for saying that, but it's true. No one gives a shit about how you do it. Just do the fucking thing. Just do it. And as a Laker fan, watching these guys getting paid the way they're getting paid, catered like fucking babies, and still they baby them? No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to give these guys any credit for being soft. I don't give a shit if it's 2028, 2025, 4,000. It doesn't matter. Grow some fucking balls and play when you're not feeling good to play so that you can harden yourself. The weaker you get, the weaker your brain gets and the weaker your body gets. And that's just kind of where I'm at with it. I don't know how else to say it. And I'm going to say it. Guys, I have the energy to do this nonstop. You will never see energy go away on this one because this is something that is true. It's 100%. And we're going to see. We're going to see here in the next 12 games how the Lakers play this out. You want the Lakers to have a chance at winning a championship and beating Oklahoma City, the Celtics, or the Cavs? Your ass better get that second seed, and your ass better take advantage of some of the things that will go your way with home court advantage. You want to steal one from Oklahoma City? The history says that you can steal one. I've seen it. I've seen it. I've seen them do it to the Kings. I've seen it do it. I've seen them do it to the Kings, and I've seen them do it to San Antonio. That has history. But you don't see guys win championships regularly when they're on the road constantly. Just not. Only one team that I ever saw. That was the 95 Rockets. And that year, if you do a little history lesson on it, it's a weird year for a lot of things. Michael wasn't playing that year, really. He played 17 games. It was just kind of the NBA in general was kind of an influx. But yeah, I didn't. I had a lot of energy this evening, and or I should say this afternoon. I thought we would do a show in the afternoon because at night, usually the energy might not be as much. But at the same time, I think I'm trying to spare people around me not having to hear me scream at night.
Well, let me say this. Sharon's in the chat asking, what excuses are you hearing from fans about load management? That's an organizational strategy, which is true. Players hate it. I'm not sure that's the case, Sharon. You keep blaming players. The other night, again, if you go look on Twitter and you look at, was it McMenamin or Trudell's? It kind of blends in after a while. And you look on video at the conversation that they had with Jared Vanderbilt, and Jared Vanderbilt talking about outside of obviously getting the highest seed possible, what are the things that come to mind that it's needed most? And Luka Doncic off camera, chiming in, rest. So you tell me, that's Luka Doncic. And I'm sure he is not the only one. So let's not just point this at Luka Doncic. This is a catered attitude by now the majority of NBA players, Sharon. Let's not take the players off the hook on this one. If a guy like LeBron wants to play, he plays whenever he will want to play. Luka Doncic, same thing. If these guys said, you know what, I really don't want to sit out this game on Thursday against the Bucks. They don't have Damian Lillard. I think we've got a good chance to win this game. He would have chimed in and said something because he sat out, remember, the fourth quarter, the previous game. Same thing with LeBron. Same thing with all these other stars. Same thing with all these other players. If they really want to play, Joe, they will play. They will just tell their coach, I'm going to play whether you like it or not.
There is a fine line between saving your player from his own disaster. That's why being observant in those moments, being in the moment and understanding, listen, you just played 40 minutes in 6 of 8 games. We want to make sure that you're not going to bust the tire. So I'm going to take you out a little bit on this next run, maybe halfway through the first, maybe a few minutes in the second. You'll start the second half. I'll take you out again at the 6-minute mark, and then hopefully we don't need you in the fourth quarter as much, but we'll still, monitor your minutes. If that's for someone who's been, I'll use an example of Kobe Bryant when he was going on that run before he blew out his Achilles. No one was going to tell Kobe Bryant to get out of the game. Mike D'Antoni, Jeannie Buss, Dr. Buss from his grave, no one was going to tell Kobe, not even God was going to tell Kobe to get out. In those moments, you admire it, but there is a limit too. In that case, Kobe needed to maybe be told, listen, I understand what you're trying to do here, but we can't do this. So I'm trying to put some understanding in this as well. My issue is not doing what you're supposed to because something might happen when you have no basis of it happening. Like, why would DFS all of a sudden get injured for 3 or 4 weeks because you're playing him? Those are the type of things that I don't like. And Vanderbilt is the topic of discussion this last day. We're getting hammered by my boy Jeff about this a little bit. Not so much, but
How?
getting
He stinks, man.
well. No.
He is-
I'm telling you right now, there are Vanderbilt fans out there that think this guy is because of the record that the Lakers have since he's been back. I don't give a shit what his record is. That guy's horrible. Okay, and he's been horrible. Tim Connolly can attest to that. He's traded him twice in his
Joe,
GM careers.
he plays less than half the game.
It's a discussion that I think we can talk about here in detail a little bit more. I am not a Vanderbilt basketball skill set fan. I do not like basketball players who can't catch the ball. If there's a history you need to go at, all you got to do is talk to my friends when Kwame Brown and Samaki Walker were playing for the Lakers. There were times where I wanted to rip the door out of my house. I was so angry. It's aggravating. You guys have hands like goddamn catcher mitts, gloves, and yet you can't catch the fucking ball when it comes to you. Why? That means your head is up your ass. If you can't catch the ball, what are you good for in basketball then? We're not playing soccer. So what is it? What the fuck is wrong with you? Why can't you catch the ball? And it's over and over. Oh, and then we go take a couple games off because of whatever. Dude, you should never take a day off. Vanderbilt should have been in that Milwaukee game at the very least trying to hone in on his deficiencies. But people don't do that. Not everybody does that.
But okay, Joe, you have Jamie and you have Empire Jeff constantly trying to defend Vando to us. And it's like, because for you it's Empire Jeff, for me it's Jamie Sweet, and I'm going, do you not watch the games? There are two sides to the ball. I understand not everybody can be great on both sides of the ball. That's fine, but to be so inept after so many years in basketball, this is in the NBA. This is what is seventh season in the NBA. Really, at some point, you just cannot be trusted enough to get the ball in the middle of the key and make a good decision with it. Or when you try to take the ball and put it on the floor, I mean, Cam Reddish almost looks like Michael Jordan, the greatest of all time, compared to him. And we all talked about for 2 years now how bad he looks going to the basket. It's insanely frustrating to see JJ continually make the decision, okay, in the offense, you're going to go ahead and utilize Vando as a secondary playmaker. That's ridiculous, Joe. If you love his defense so much, if you love what he does on the defensive side, creating energy, he's a decent rebounder, really energetic out there. Fine. Find him a spot where he can do the least amount of trouble, because whatever the Lakers are doing with him, it's not working now. And I understand he's only playing between 10 and 20 minutes a game. But if you're telling me, if you're hyping him up so much like Jamie does to me and like Empire Jeff does to you, if you're hyping him so much and saying he's such an impact and the winning record behind him and whatnot, then why, when you put the ball in his hands, can he not do anything constructive with it? Unless it's really right there at the basket or really the best or cleanest look he can get.
The asset he brings is if the defense is doing more zone type defensive schemes where he can get into passing lanes, that's where his best attributes are. He also, when he does risk a little, he can be impactful. He can anticipate sometimes well and create a problem. But those two situations have to be kind of the stars have to kind of align for that to work consistently in a 48-minute game. And they don't usually align when the playoffs come, because everything's in a fine-tooth comb. Everything is detailed. Your opponent is honing in on your team and only your team. And it's easier to adjust to a team that you're going to be playing for a week or so, versus if you're going to be playing a fast-paced team like Houston versus, let's say, Cleveland, if their bigs are doing what they do. The opposing team also can force you, if they're smart and they're executing the job, force you to play pick and roll with someone like Jared Vanderbilt, which I saw the last couple games. Well, not Milwaukee, the one before that. And you saw, like, why are they running a pick and roll with Jared? Because I went back and looked at some of the tape. I'm like, this was the opposition forcing them to play pick and roll with Jared Vanderbilt, forcing Jared Vanderbilt to get that ball at the corner. They're going to let Jared have that shot no matter what. He could make 3 in a row. They're still going to make him shoot that because Jared Vanderbilt can't focus. He cannot focus consistently. He's too erratic mentally. When you can't catch the ball, Kobe didn't have big hands either, folks. And I remember early on in Kobe's career, he used to lose the ball a lot. He used to use the ball. He used to lose the ball a lot, actually. He worked on it, and it got better. Jared Vanderbilt obviously has not done that and doesn't look like he will. And I think he's got larger hands than Kobe, too, if I had to guess. Maybe he doesn't. I don't know. But it's a concentration thing. And if you can't concentrate on at least catching the ball, especially with someone like Luka and LeBron throwing you the ball, then you have no value on this team. Because it doesn't matter what you did on the other side. If you got the steal and now they're running a semi break, and then you're trailing, and they get you the ball and you're fumbling shit all and turning the ball over, what difference does it make? You did it, it's a wash. You didn't do shit. You didn't create anything. You created we wasted our time with that nice play by screwing it up with a bad play. And I used to call it the Hines Ward effect. Hines Ward, I used to remember very vividly. Hines Ward would make a drop or mess up somewhere. And I swear it was like clockwork. The next play, he's catching some 14-yard in for a first down. Like, it was like clockwork. He made up for it instantly. It's like putting a cattle prod up his ass. Just like, oh, I got to make up for what I just did. Like, it was, some guys are like that. And that's something that I always kind of wished everyone that I was cheering for would do. You know, you make a mistake, go make up for it right away. They're all going to make mistakes. But it was always nice to see that Hines Ward would always kind of just immediately come back and make up for whatever wrong he did. The playing time thing where it's not the players, it's the coaches. I don't buy that at all. This is just in general. The players they don't really have the urgency to play every game. They've been conditioned to not. You've seen why wouldn't they play hard in All-Star game, Gerald? What's the problem with that? Aren't you showcasing your league? Do any of them have any pride in showing?
Do they care though?
No, they don't care. Of course they don't care. And then they'll use the excuse, well, no one cares, and it just keeps building and building and building and building, and it sets a precedent. It sets a precedent, and it gets worse and worse. And the fans do it, add to it, because they're stupid idiots that don't value anything other than, well, did I get paid? How about having some pride a little bit sometimes instead of always worrying about fucking money? They're getting paid $50 million. How about having some pride and showing, this is what our league is about. We're going to play hard. We're going to show ourselves and how good we are. They used to do that before. Why did it change? They were getting paid less money back then too. So what is this? No pride in anything and no feeling of just overall happiness. Hey, look at our life. Look at the fortune that we have. No, it's always I want to do what I want to do. We don't really need to do this. Well, this is the residual effect of that. Trash. Fucking pussy ass bitches that can't fucking play the game that they're fucking signed up to play for at 25 years old. What the fuck are you doing here then? You're just here to collect the check? Well, I guess the easy way to go would be to leave and stop watching. But I don't know. For me, that's a pussy way to go out too. So I'm going to be here all up in your shit. That's how I get back at you for that. That includes the soft ass fans too. That's how I get back at you all. Yeah. Whether that hits a nerve or not, I don't know. I don't think I have that reach yet. Maybe one day I'll be lucky. I don't know. But that's how I get back at you, because I do love the sport and I do love my teams. So maybe this is the only way I can feel good about it for me, and not just quitting like 99% of other people. I don't like to quit, especially something that I like. Well, if you guys aren't going to do it right, doing it right means showing the fuck up. At least do that. Then I'm gonna make it loud. Hey, why aren't you playing? Well, the coach, this and that. I go, and then go talk to the coach. Why the hell did you not play him? He needed rest. Fuck your rest. Take a pay cut then.
I'm just going to say this, Joe, and you can disagree with me, but remember last year was like for a microsecond because he got hurt again. But Vando, we hate Ham in wins and losses, the famous Doobie line. But the one thing Ham and Pockets did correctly was that he figured out a place for Vando. It wasn't at the 3-point line. It wasn't at the free throw line. He put him in the dunker spot. Because if he catches the ball on a lob and he's in the air already, he can still do that. We've seen him actually do it in games here recently. But the one thing he can do at a decent level on the offensive end is an offensive rebounder, Joe. And that's something the Lakers do need. So that's the only thing that seemingly, he was effective at. Again, it was only for about a 2-3 week period, and then he got injured again, and that was the rest of the season. So your mileage may differ on that. But this is a guy, you look at his numbers. I said people were trying in this chat, were trying to go, hey, he's really doing good at 3-pointers. They thought they were going to see the kind of turnaround like Aaron Gordon. You guys put Aaron Gordon in the comments. True. He has evolved from a high volume, below average 3-point shooter into a good volume, efficient 44% 3-point shooter. And you guys were saying that earlier, 2-3 weeks ago, that Vando was on his way to becoming just like that, because he was like 36%. And I'm like, look at the averages. Look at his career. He is a career 29% shooter. And sure enough, Joe, he's starting to trickle down, starting to miss more and miss more and miss more. The guy cannot be depended on at the 3-point line or to make decisions or to drive, because it just seemingly not working out. The only place on the offensive end I've seen him actually be effective was last year for that brief time at the dunker spot.
I don't trust him in any offensive plays at all. I even struggle when he's under the basket, because I don't know if he's going to miss the layup. I don't trust him. Not in the big games. And I never will. He's given me no reason to trust him. I trust DFS.
I'm not as high at DFS.
DFS got thrown in some of this. Well, the thing is with DFS, he has shown that he can guard multiple positions, and that's something the Lakers desperately need. And he can occasionally make the three, not from the corner either. He can make a three, and he can make a couple.
He can throw up eggs, man. There's a reason why he's only been a 10-point game scorer.
Well, that's fine.
We saw a little bit of that last game where he was just absolutely terrible.
That's fine.
On both ends of the floor.
That's fine. But when things get a little tighter, he will get more open shots in the playoffs, and he can at least guard more than one position, more than two positions, more than three, and even. I'm willing to be patient with him, and I think his game isn't as deficient as Jared Vanderbilt's is. Not even close. I think he brings a lot to the table when he's on. Role players are they're an iffy bunch. You have to kind of take what you can take from the few, and always hope that one or the other will have that important game be their game, and then as they switch off, that's what you want. You want this role player to have this game be his game, and then the next one, if he doesn't show up, you have someone else that picks up the slack. Just it's a lot like the baseball run this last year, where one series you had Teoscar Hernandez being the guy. The next one was Edmund. The next guy you had Muncy getting to the plate 12 times in a row. The stars are going to do what stars do. They're not going to necessarily go anywhere, at least in basketball. But the role players will play they always play a defining role in that if you can get one of them to play out of their heads, play out of their minds a little bit here and there, you can go a long way. But you have to be smart, man. You have to be smart. You have to be smart, and if you can't do the basics, I have no sympathy for you. If you miss shots, you have a series where you're missing shots, you're going to get dogged on, but it's not going to be you missed a layup or the ball went right to your hands and you consistently over and over and over again keep fumbling the fucking ball. That shit's worse than missing open shots in my book. Because those are fundamental things that you're supposed to do. You're in the freaking NBA. How are you not be able to catch a basketball? How are you not able to make a layup when you're 6'8"? That just doesn't go well with me. Are you scared? Are you mentally weak? You have no business in the game then. I'm sorry. I don't care that I've never played in the NBA. What difference does that make? What am I going to go have surgery with a doctor because I'm not a doctor? I can't tell that this doctor sucks because he screwed up something? What? Oh, you've never been a doctor. You don't know how it is. I don't give a fuck. You went to school. You're supposed to do this. It's not my business to know. It's your business to know this. If a nutritionist gives me a diet and it sucks, what? You're not a nutritionist. You know what you're talking about. I'm like, bitch, I didn't fucking lose weight. That's your job. I said I needed to lose weight and I didn't. Now I got to be a nutritionist to have credibility in that argument? No. It's about results. This guy is an NBA player. He was drafted. He's on a roster. He's been paid. It's our job as the observer to say, this guy sucks at his job when he sucks. And we tell them they're amazing when they're amazing too. It's that it goes both ways, man. Stop getting defensive and going, oh, well, you shouldn't say that because of this and this and that have nothing to do with the game. If you want to come back at me and say, Jared Vanderbilt is better than you think because he does this on the court, I'd say, all right, I'll buy that a little bit. But if you come back with some bullshit, oh, you don't know anything about NBA basketball, you've never even dribbled in the NBA. Fuck you, okay? 99.9% of the population has never fucking played in the NBA. What the hell's your point? Bill Belichick is the greatest mind of the last 50 years in football. He never played a fucking blade of grass in the NFL. What do you get? What? He don't know football because he didn't play in the NFL? So just that kind of stuff needs to be brought out because you see it. It's easy for these little pussy-ass weasels online to say it because there's no consequences. It's easy for people to say that and wanting a fantasy land type story. Like this constant story, I've said this a few times, like all these happy stories. Oh, he went through this and who gives a shit? Like, why do people like that stuff? That's me. Like, what is it with oh, I just want the fairy tale. Dude, if I want fairy tale, I'm going to go watch Disney, okay? I want to watch sports. I don't want to know about these guys' personal lives. I don't. I'm sorry, I don't. I don't want to know about their personal life. I just want to watch sports. I just want to watch the game. I don't need to know that Bronny is getting better because his dad's proud of him and his dad's jumping in the air. Matter of fact, his other son was winning a championship. And then, by the way, I'm not looking for this, guys. It's getting thrown at me. I'm minding my own business when this shit comes to me. Some asshole sends a video of LeBron celebrating his son, the other one, winning or made a basket or whatever the hell it was, and like, oh, look, LeBron is jumping in the air. Doesn't he have a groin injury? Fifth story building, gone. That's where that belongs. And now you know where the anger comes from. What does him jumping around celebrating have to do with his groin at his kid's game? This is why I don't want to see this shit. This is why. I don't want to see it. I don't give a shit about these guys' personal lives. I don't want to hang out with them. I want my team to win. I want my team to win. That's it. Just like they don't give a fuck about me or you, I don't give a fuck about them with their personal stuff. None of those people give a fuck about your personal life, what you do, whether you're alive or you're dead. So let's get out of that for a minute. Focus on the game. Focus on the wins and the losses and that stuff. That's what I do. So if you're going to get paid all this money and you're not doing your job, your basic jobs, we're going to say something about it because we spend a lot of time doing this. That's it. That's all it is. There's no agenda. There's no, oh, he's not thinking straight. No, I'm thinking pretty damn straight. I'm always thinking straight. No matter how loud the volume is, I'm always thinking straight because this is what it is. Now, mistakes can be made, sure. You might assume something here and there, but okay. Yeah, I might have jumped the gun on that one. I'm sorry. You get it over, you apologize, you get over it, and let's go on with ourselves. Let's go on with our lives. But this is not. This is a reoccurring theme. Constant weak-ass sitting guys, constant deficiencies in certain players, and half the freaking crowd is saying that it's not. Guys, come on. Wake up. Wake the hell up. There's problems here. Don't get yourselves in that mindset of being soft. Go get the damn championship if you have a chance at getting it. Stop worrying about rest. If you want rest, the summer's coming. Otherwise, why are you playing? That's it.
So when it comes to Vanderbilt, what's Jeff's reasoning on Jared Vanderbilt?
I think Jeff looks at it from a coaching standpoint.
Mhm.
I've never coached basketball. I've coached a little football, but coaching basketball, sometimes stats and things like that, maybe certain people think, well, there's intangibles that they have that they help, which we did point out some intangibles. We pointed out the fact that he's good at causing havoc in passing lanes and taking calculated risks that more often than not can be a benefit. But when the opposition starts to draw out your weaknesses, how do you work around that? Well, you're supposed to get better with your ability to do the basics there. I told you I don't like basketball players who have bad hands. It drives me up the fucking wall. If you can't catch the basketball consistently, it's probably the biggest pet peeve I have in basketball. Not missed shots, not even turnovers. Which is funny because that ends up being a turnover usually, right? But not really. Not really. It's actually worse because it's an opportunity to score and you keep fumbling the ball. It's worse than a turnover to me because you not only turn the ball over, but you guarantee that you're -2 in points at that moment. So it's almost like two bad plays at once. I don't like players who can't catch the ball. That is something that has plagued me with basketball since I can remember. I don't like it. And Vanderbilt he's from the ilk of Samaki Walker and Kwame Brown. Those two fucking guys. I mean, murder was in my head with those guys when they would constantly miss wide open passes and just fumble them like fucking idiots. Don't fumble the ball. You're 7 feet tall. What the fuck are you afraid of? Vanderbilt's 6'10", isn't he? 6'8"? What are you afraid of? If you're afraid of catching the ball, get the fuck out of there.
Alan has a good point. He said that he works best, or he works out there as a chaos machine for 10 to 20 minutes, but with the playoffs, it will probably decrease. Yeah, it's a chaos, but the problem is it works both ways. When you have that level of activity, that's great on one end of the floor, but if you're just out there creating chaos, it works one way, but also can work another. And lately, we've been seeing that chaos more on the offensive end than what he's been giving you defensively. Defensively, I've seen him being beat now on more than one occasion, which is concerning because he is supposed to be one of your primary defenders. And I've seen him being pushed out of the way on others. And then on the offensive end, we've talked about that already. So yeah, it's concerning because if he does not give you a top level of defense, really it becomes more of an issue of having him out there. And the fact is you're still on the hook with him for 3 more years.
That could be the frustration too. Why would you pay someone with so many fundamental deficiencies an extension that long? You didn't need to.
When he
I'm
was
not-
already hurt with foot
I'm not
injuries.
gonna, yeah, and I'm not gonna get into this. I'm not gonna get into this. I think we've. This is definitely something I'm not gonna get in right now. I'm not gonna go into management and bad decisions. We've done enough of that for the last 10 months, and
Okay.
the Luka deal covered a lot of that. And
Okay.
look, if you're gonna be real, you got to be real the whole way. You can't sit there and just conveniently pick what you want to be all in, and then when it's something that you don't, you start running on that. No.
Oh, but this took place before Luka.
There's a the Lakers were on empty, and then all of a sudden they put some jet fuel in there, and that jet fuel is going to be there for a while. Getting Luka Doncic covered a lot of things, even the bad things that they did, and I can't deny it. I cannot deny it, because when you talk about the future, those are the things that I believe you can think about in terms of future. They guaranteed themselves, barring any injury, which is a staple, right? That's the only thing that can stop this, and no one knows and no one can understand, right? It has to happen for us to know. But if there's no injuries to Luka Doncic in the next decade, you are looking at the Lakers move there, allowing the Lakers to be a competitive basketball team in the NBA. So I'm not going to get into management, but what I am going to get into is I'm going to continue to put the pressure on the things I don't like, and it's going to be very hard for anyone to logically speak about this and have it make sense to where I'll go the other way, because there is no other way. How are you going to convince us that not playing when you're not hurt, not injured, is the right call for a 25-year-old? That does not make any sense to me. When you don't really have, if you had a 17-game lead, maybe that needle kind of goes a certain way. But what about when your team needs to get to a position for the best possible chance for you to win, and you still do it? Why? I want to know why. Why does seeding not matter to some of you? I want to know. When was the last time the Lakers won a championship when they didn't have home court in the first round? In the modern game, I don't know if it happened in the 50s. I have to go check. But I do know this. Modern game, it's 0. They got close in 03. And that in itself is a good story to tell, to kind of put this thing in a nice bow. What happened that year, folks? This isn't Joe Soros, some nobody on online now. What did Kobe say to Shaq about that toe surgery in 03? Oh, you took a toe surgery and decided to take the first part of that off. Well, what ended up happening was the Lakers weren't winning a lot of games at the beginning of the year. I think they were 25-23 to start their first 58 games. No, wait. Yeah. No, 47 games, sorry. 48. 48 games. And they had to battle to get to 50 wins. And then they got the 5th seed. They were grinding, and then they met the San Antonio Spurs on the road in that second round, and they ended up getting waxed in 6. Matter of fact, Tim Duncan's greatest game I ever saw him play was that game 6 in LA. He absolutely fried Shaq. That I remember that entire game. He was destroying everything and everyone in LA.
But Joe, Mar is saying, as long as the Lakers finish top 4, they're fine. They're fine.
Okay. Yeah. Sure.
Okay. They're fine.
Good. Well, they'll be fine. Yeah.
What did the stats say, John?
Stat says there's only been 1 4 seed, and that was a year where there was only 4 teams in the NBA to win a championship. There's only been, I think, three seeds to win a championship, and then everybody else has been 1 and 2s except for 1 year, and that was the '95 Rockets. Won it as a 6 seed. That's it.
Was it so? What was the Houston Rockets?
Houston Rockets in '95 was a 6 seed.
Mm-hmm.
No 5th seed, no 7th seed, no 8th seed, no playing team has ever won a championship. And even the 4 seed, has only won 1. 4 seed in a league that only had 4 playoff teams, the '69 Celtics. And there's a lot of drama in that series too. If some of you want to learn a little bit about Wilt Chamberlain, because I was talking to John last night. I mean, again, John, God bless him, he's a good guy, but he was absolutely delusional last night. Kept just yapping about how he won the argument when he didn't. A lot of talk about Wilt Chamberlain and Michael Jordan too in the past, and Wilt Chamberlain being the alpha always was like, well, he always talked like a big man, right? He always talked about being the main guy, and I'm sitting there going, didn't you go 2 and 4 in the finals? In a league where there was only 7 to 9 teams. Like, well, I know you're the baddest individual basketball player on the planet, but you kind of came up short a few times, and the worst one was in '69. He hurt himself in that game 7 in LA, the game that they were supposed to win, and ended up getting into a little tiff with his coach. Coach wouldn't put him back in. Lakers ended up losing that game. A lot more to that story. I'm not gonna. Maybe we'll do it on a History 101 show one day. But how you handle your business says a lot. It's not always just the talent. It's what's up your neck here sometimes. What happens here matters. And when we talk about Jared Vanderbilt, he's capable of catching that ball physically, but his mental is not there. And if your mental is not there, you might as well not have any hands. This thing needs to communicate with your hands. And if you can't do the basics, then you're not going to be able to do the next level stuff. And that's a fact. We'll talk about facts. That's a fact.
So before we head on out, my friend, I want to set up the road trip. It is, of course, the Lakers Fast Break. Lakers Weekend, everyone. It's Joe Soro along with me, Gerald Glassford. Thanks again for watching us. Please like and subscribe to go ahead and get the latest notifications on when we go live with the latest Lakers Fast Break podcast. So you see the Lakers status report, which was just put out there. LeBron James is probable for tomorrow. Rui is questionable because he, as I indicated yesterday, Joe, he says his knee is around 70 to 80% and probably not going to be fully right until after the season or when he can get an extended period of, dare I say it, rest. So you see it right there. They start their road trip in Orlando. Again, a very defensive-minded team. A lot of length, size, and finally starting to right their way after struggling for most of the past couple months. And then we head into Orlando. And then I think also as well, we're heading after that back at Chicago to hopefully get some taste of revenge. And then Memphis. So what do you think the key is There is one back-to-back, the Indiana-Chicago deal, which concerns me greatly on who they will sit out then. But let's say that everybody is healthy going through. Any concerns that the Lakers can't do as far as what you need them to do on this road trip?
I don't know what was going on last night. Anybody find out? Why couldn't they play defense last night? Anybody find out? Because I watched Sportsnet for a minute, and all I kept hearing was more and more just regurgitated trash from those guys on the show.
LeBron apologizing, say we should all as a team apologize to Luka. Yeah, that's.
What is that going to do?
I didn't hear JJ very much. That's all. That's the one thing I wanted to hear.
Did he go through his soliloquies that JJ always does, usually after a loss, about how we need to understand our lives? Sometimes the answer should be basic, and it should be quick and easy. We played like shit tonight because no one wanted to play defense. We thought we could come in here and beat these guys because they're the Bulls and they suck. Mr. I'm all about telling you what's up. Oh, but that'll probably hurt the feelings of the players, right? You don't want to do that. It's probably why I'm not an NBA coach. It's probably why Bill Laimbeer only coached the women in the WNBA.
Is he still front office here in Vegas? I don't think he is.
Bill Laimbeer, as much of a dickhead as he is, there was a few things that I've heard about him where I was like, yeah, I can relate to that.
Let me see.
I can relate to that.
Still doing it.
He's said some funny things about NBA players.
Oh, he's retired. He's
and this is not. Hey, you know what's funny about that is this is not this like it's not about today. He's been saying this shit since the 90s.
It's a piece of work.
He has said it since the 90s. The stuff he has said about NBA players and how you think I'm bad? You think I'm bad with this soft pussy ass freaking culture? Dude, this guy was saying this shit in the 90s. So yeah, it's I don't know. I just think it's funny that I was thinking about some of the things that I've heard. It's probably why Phil Jackson always had like a wisecrack about certain things, because I think he even knew how soft players could be. But it makes for good TV, I guess. We'll never know, right? I'm never going to play in the NBA. But I'm not trying to front here either, guys. NBA players have always been in control. It's just they've gotten more control now. They've always been the divas. They've always been the coach killers. AI and Larry Brown. I mean, that's the most famous one from our last 30 years. AI could not deal with Larry Brown's authoritative rule. And Larry Brown gets irritating. He's a lot like Rick Carlisle. He wears on you. That's why he always had to move around. After a while, people just got tired of him. And I can actually see that too. I'm not trying to be all coach and ownership favorite. I'm not. I'm pretty confident saying that there is a moment where it's too much. My kids, I always use this example with my kids, and in the way I was brought up. My parents disciplined us, but we also got to a point where they didn't discipline us for no reason. At some point, there's a level you reach where the constant disciplining, it's like, all right, dude, all right, I get it. I got to get up at 8. Okay. And guys in the NBA are still somewhat grown men, and I say somewhat grown men. You have to identify that maybe at some point, if this person doesn't understand that they need to do what they need to do, then maybe your message isn't getting there. And if your solution to that is to treat them like they're children, I guess there's somewhat of an understanding there, but it's probably not going to work. But I don't know if I want to get into that. Point is, I don't know what to think about what's going to happen here, and I think that's part of the fun. We don't know what's going to happen in this road trip. They could end up going 4-0. They go 4-0. We're going to be sitting here slapping, grab-assing, and saying, "Hey, yay! Are we going to get the second seed? Yes." And then they'll come
Well, even
back.
if they get to, even if they get to 4-0, Joe, they probably won't be second seed because right now Houston's at 46 wins. So I'm assuming they'll at least win one or two of those games during that time. So they probably wouldn't even be second seed if that's the case.
Well, the good thing is, let's say if Denver can beat Houston today, then they're one game back again, and the Lakers have 2 home games against Houston. If all things are even, and the Lakers beat them in both games, then they have a chance. But it's too long.
They have to stay within 2 games. So
It's
they
too
have
yeah.
to
It's
stay.
too far away. With 12 games is a pretty good amount of games. Plus the Lakers are playing after they get back from Chicago. They're not playing anyone else in the Eastern Conference after that.
But they go to Memphis, which
All
is
they're
still
doing,
Eastern time zone.
all they're doing is playing Western Conference Finals. I'm sorry, Western Conference teams. After the Chicago game, after March 27th, they're only going to play for what will be almost a month. Only Western Conference teams. What does that mean? Well, it means those tiebreakers should. Well, actually, they're going to win the division. They could win the division, so that wouldn't matter. But they're going to have to.
Important.
They're going to have to make sure that they win those games because it might matter. It might matter.
Mar says, I'm not opposed to tanking to get the right matchup for the first round.
The right matchup right now is getting the 2 seed. It doesn't matter who they play, the Clippers, the Warriors, or the Timberwolves. You got to get that second seed. Sorry. That's your best chance. If you want, even if Denver drops to 7, that's fine. You start in LA against Denver, especially with the Denver kind of coming down here. I'm not afraid of Denver at home. I'm not afraid of Denver at home at this point. But I don't think it's going to play out like that. I think Denver's going to end up at worst 6 or 5 at worst, but they could get a 4 or 3 as well. Houston, maybe stay the hot as long as they are. I don't know. You never know. We have 12 games left. We have to wait.
But it starts tomorrow. The drive towards the end of the season as the Lakers head out on the road trip. They start off with the game in Orlando. It's 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. We'll have it up for you on playback.tv. So it's Lakers Fast Break as far as live scoreboard and chat, which is a very good chat last night, if you got a chance to hear it. But Joe, definitely appreciate you stopping by for this weekend edition of Lakers Fast Break. Looking forward to hearing your thoughts tomorrow on the post game. Any last thoughts before we head on out?
Win games. Show up. Show up and win games. Stop being a bitch. That includes you, JJ Redick. I'm talking to you. Stop sitting your players when they're not injured.
Comes back.
I would love to fight JJ Redick. Not in a malicious way. Let's just fight for like 5 minutes. I want to see how feisty he'd be.
Hockey fight?
Yeah. Hockey fight. Just to see how, like, if I slapped him a couple times really good, how is he going to react? Is he going to be like, I one of the best things about Fight Club, I don't mind the movie. I think it was a good movie. I don't climax over it as much as a lot of people do. But I do like that line when they're asked, like, who would you fight, like in history, like Abraham Lincoln, like, I don't know why that clicked to me. Like, yeah, there's guys sometimes you look, you meet or you see, and you're like, I wonder how this guy would be in a fight. And I don't like to fight. I don't like to go fight. It's not my thing. But for some reason, there's a few out there that will present themselves. I'm like, I bet you this guy would scrap. I just want to see how that person scraps just because you can. It'd be funny. It'd be funny how it happened. So yeah,
Sharon, Sharon thinks you would get your ass beat.
oh, really?
It's a good team.
Oh, it's funny.
Sharon, Joe's a big guy. I'll just say that.
Yeah, it would be fun. It would. He'd have to probably crack me like in the sweet spot, probably, or here, right? And anyone can go down. I've seen guys go down there when they hit the
Yeah, it
sweet
doesn't
spot.
matter how big you are. How's your chin?
So what you got to do is that's why they tell you got to have your fists up, man. That's what you guard for, right?
Yep.
When you're guarding those two spots.
You can't
the
work
sweet
out your
science.
head.
The sweet science is the sweet science for a reason. It's to protect. And I never boxed, but I've done a few things here and there in my time, but everything usually ends up on the ground though. In the time actually one time it didn't because I didn't have to, but it's just, I think it would be fun just to kind of, a lot of times you really find out about people during the ultimate moments of survival. That's one of those few things that you can do that doesn't mean that you got to end somebody's life. I mean, when it's life versus life, that's a whole different beast, and I hope to never be involved in anything like that. But that's the closest thing. So I don't know. Every time I see him, I think about it.
I can see you if you actually do end up interviewing him. Sorry, JJ. Whenever I see
hey,
you,
JJ, I want to fight you. Would you want to fight? I bet you'd get a kick out of it. I think he would get a kick out of it.
I think he would.
I don't know what it is about your face. I don't know. I just feel like I want to fight you for some reason. Do you want to fight? Let's fight. No, don't sue any. I'm not going to sue you if you hit me, and I'll sign an NDA, whatever. I'll sign anything you want, liability, whatever. I just want to punch you, and you punch me, and we fight. Like I want to see what's up. Yeah, Mar. I don't think the NBA is the NFL. As a matter of fact, the NBA players are playing in the NBA because they don't like the contact in the NFL.
I hear over Nikola Jokic. He said that Michael Malone just said that the Nuggets were hoping to bring back Nikola at some point during the team's upcoming 5-game homestand. So I'm guessing he will be out tonight still with that elbow contusion. Yeah. So
well,
and he doesn't think he'll play tomorrow in Denver. But
so everything looks to be going towards Houston winning, which means the Lakers will still be. Well, actually, the Lakers will end up going up to the 3rd seed again should Denver lose tonight.
But they got to stay within distance. That's why this to me, this road trip is key because they have to stay within breathing distance of the Houston Rockets. It is imperative that they do, because if they don't stay within 2 games of Houston Rockets, with Houston still having an easier schedule up until the end of this month, it's yeah. I don't know,
they're a game ahead of Memphis, and they're technically 2 games based off of division winning versus non-division winning. The Lakers may have looked at the schedule and said, we're going to get the 3rd seed, even if we play it safe. Maybe that's what they think is going to happen. And if they happen to get the 2, great. But I think they're probably going to be comfortable getting the 3rd seed at this point. Yeah, maybe. We'll see.
We'll see indeed. But it is starting tomorrow, the road trip at Orlando, starting at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. Truly appreciate everyone being here. Legend, Eric, Doobie, Autism, Mar, Sharon, E. Gibson, Tufso, everybody that was part BC, everybody that was part of the chat today, and everybody watching. Make sure you like and subscribe if you like what we do. We'll be back tomorrow, like I said, to go ahead with the scoreboard and chat, playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break, and then, of course, the post game right here at Lakers Fast Break. So for Joe Soro, aka the Joe Soro Experiment, along with me, Gerald Glassford, thanks again for watching and listening. We'll see you tomorrow for the road game at Orlando and the road trip. That's all important for the Lakers season. What will happen in the Magic Kingdom? We'll find out tomorrow right here at the Lakers Fast Break podcast.
So relaxing.